Hello everyone, we're back again. We're going to be doing the road trip part 3 now. So this is the budget. So we've already figured out how you're going to drive there, where you're stopping. Now we're going to talk about how much is that going to cost. So if we flip over to the first page with information, in part 3 the main objective is to break it down to how far are we traveling, how much gas are we going to use, how much does that cost, and also find a place to stay. I'd like you to start with someplace that's safe. Hotels are safe. You're guaranteed to be safe. So before we get into this, this is one of those things where decision making is important. You don't just say, woo, going on a road trip. You should think about how much the gas is going to cost, how much food, how much hotels, if you're going to stop somewhere and see something. So whenever you make a decision, try and think about the details and how it affects you. So I talk about it a bit here, and hopefully you'll learn a bit more about decision making. So if you're looking at the task, let's scroll up to that a bit. We're going to first focus on the car, and before you get into this, your car shouldn't just be the best mileage, the cheapest on gas. It should be reliable. Whenever you're traveling, making sure the car doesn't break down is probably the most important thing. I myself am going to have a car that's reliable, and also I'm going to be traveling with my family, so it needs to be big. So we're going to work first of all on the car. We're then going to work on how much distance we traveled and the gas it costs. We're going to finish off with the hotel cost and then total it up for each day. So let's scroll over to the first working page. Now, when you select your car, you should know a few things about it. I drive a Honda. We have a family car. It's called the Honda Odyssey. The Honda Odyssey. What year is it? Our year is the 2009. It is getting pretty old, but it is still quite useful. Now, fuel economy. How many liters do you need to travel 100 kilometers? So we're going to bounce back and forth between the internet. If we go back to the internet, you can find over here specifications. I have looked up the Honda Odyssey. Unfortunately, I've only gotten 2020, but that I think is good enough for what we're doing. If you scroll down, down, you will find at some point something that says fuel economy liters per 100 kilometers. I want you to go into that section, and now you're going to see 3 numbers. If you look across the different models, they all have the same. So the first number means how much gas for the city. The second number is how much gas for the highway. And if we pause, cars drive way more efficient in the highway. That's why there's less liters. In the city, you're stopping and going and accelerating and braking, lots of gas wastage. That's why it needs so much more gas. And then the last number is combined. It means like if you're in the city part of the time and in the highway part of the time, it's kind of right in the middle. That's the one we're going to use. So if we go back to our road trip, what is the fuel economy of our car? It's 10.6. Let's just bounce back there for a second. Yep, 10.6. Well, let's go back to figuring out the cost of gas. Now the first thing is, when you go to the States, you can't ask for a liter of gas. You have to ask for a gallon of gas. So you got to get your mind around it. You can't think liters, you got to think gallons. And then you got to think, well, wait a second, gallons are big. How many liters are in 1 American gallon? And this is important because Canadian gallons are bigger than American gallons. American gallons have 3.8 liters. Well, now that we're also in the States, we have to say, well, what is the price of 1 gallon of gas in the States? Well, if we go over there, I've already looked it up, but all I have to do is say gas price per gallon in Washington State, and there you go. Washington sells for $2.43. Let's call that, let's go back here and say $2.44, because it rounds up. Let's bounce back just for a second. Washington, 2.437. We go over here at 2.44. Let's keep the decimals. So let's do some math here. Let's get out your calculator. And because we're in Canadian and we think Canada, how much is that going to cost? Well, we're going to go 2.437 divided by 3.8. 2.437 divided by 3.8 equals, well, what's that cost going to be? And I get 64 cents. That is amazing. So you're only going to pay 64 cents per liter. Wow, it's cheap there. One of the last things is American gas is paid for with American money, so we got to convert this. We got to take 64 cents and times it by 1.4. And you're saying, are you sure, Mr. Kramer? Well, let's go back to the internet. You go back and convert 1 US to Canadian, it's 1.4. So let's go back to our road trip. We're going to take 64 cents per liter, times it by 1.4. Let's go 0.64 times 1.4 equals, and I get 0.896. If you wanted to say that is 0.90 because it rounds, that's fine. So let's make that as our conclusion. How much does it cost per liter while driving in the States? 0.90. Awesome. So we're going to use that throughout this next worksheet. So I hope you understood that. Pause and go back through it if you didn't quite understand. But now we're going to go into how much does it cost for gas for our trip. So it's important that we track what we're doing. So in day one, let's go back to our first assignment. In day one, we went from Vancouver to Portland. Now we don't need the details in between, so let's go back and let's write that right here. Vancouver to Portland. And then we say, well, what's the distance? Well, we go to our previous assignment, 509 kilometers. 509 kilometers. Well, what's the gas amount? Well, this is interesting. How much gas did we need? Well, this is really neat because if we now go back up here, look over here, our fuel economy, 10.6. That's what we're going to use. 10 liters per 100 kilometers. So if we go over here, take 509 times 10.6 divided by 100, what does that give us? Well, I'm going to use my calculator. 509 times 10.6 divided by 100 is 53.954. Let's write that. 53.954. Let's just call that 53 liters or 54 liters. So now we used 54 liters to travel 509 kilometers. How much does that cost? Well, let's go back up. It cost 90 Canadian cents per liter. Let's write that here, 0.90. Keep it all nice and neat. So 54 liters times 0.90. Let's get the calculator out again. 54 times 0.9 equals $48.60. $48.60. So we spent $48.60 on the first day just on gas. That's not too bad. So lastly, I want to make sure you're safe on your travels. So let's go find ourselves a safe but cheap hotel to stay in. So if we go over here, we go to cheap hotels in Portland. Remember, we're in Portland now, we're not in Vancouver. I went and said cheap hotels in Portland, and you've got some that have pools and all this stuff, and you can pick whatever you want, but I like these Portland Suites Airport. I've been in them before. They're near some nice shopping. So $66. I'm liking that. So $66. Problem is, this is American. Got to convert it to Canadian. 66 times 1.4 equals $92.40. Ooh, something's happening here. $92.40. So what is our total for the day? The cost of the gas, $48.60, plus the cost of the hotel, $92.40. What do we get? And if you need your calculator, and I do, plus 48.6 equals $141. 141. So that's the cost of our first day of travel. $48.60 for the gas, $92.40 for the hotel. And what I like you to do is now, because you're going to different places, when we go to day 2, you're going to go from Portland to different places, different distances, different hotels. You fill out the rest of the chart with your locations, your distances, your hotels, and then at the very end, put in your total. I've left one little spot on the end of each page for notes. Maybe you've got family in certain places you can stop at. I've got family in Redding, Oregon. I've got family in San Francisco. So I would stop at certain places and not pay for the hotel. You could do that as well. But please have this done. Please email me any questions. And I hope you have a good, fun time. Thanks very much.